Jesus to the Most High Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai, double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS who rule well. Shalom to the for elect. The elders and a lot of brothers were talking about how you won't be able to travel without this corona and this vaccine, and as it keeps going on, it's getting more and more prevalent that you're not able to travel without all these conditions that they're putting in place. Because everybody seemed to think that once you get vaccinated, all of this thing's gonna be over. But really and truly, they've basically implemented this new normal, and they're just basically gonna be feeding off this going forward. Because they've even put this on this is the UK government website, gov.uk, coronavirus, or should I say CV-19 testing before you travel to England. You must have proof of a negative CV-19 test to travel to England from abroad. And it just goes through the contents. Take a CV test before you travel to England. Test providers and type of test information. The test results must include positive test results, or they probably mean negative in that context. Exemptions: people who do not need to take the test. Passenger located to form self-isolating when you arrive in the UK, shortening your self-isolation period to test to release scheme. And you must take a test if you're a UK citizen. Even if you've already had the CV-19, you're supposed to take the test, because this isn't really about the fact that it works, because we all know it doesn't really work, which is why they put out a lot of this information, which is it's like it's just basically proof to show that they're not negligible. What's that? Plausible deniability. They've showed you that there's all kinds of adverse effects to it. So if you do take it, it's off your own volition. So really, they don't have any responsibility, and you can't seek any repercussions for them. In the same way that dumbass Jake. I'm sure a lot of brothers know that dumbass Jake that put that Gorilla Glue in their headpiece. These times, if you read the context of it, it tells you not to put on skin, and your hair is a part of your skin, is an extension of your skin. So she doesn't even really have a case going forward. But the Jake woman is so damn simple that she can do absolute foolishness and not even be held accountable, even in a situation where all the information is available for her. Now let's look at exemptions here. People doing the following jobs do not have to take a test: border and custom officials, channel, and this is for the moment, channel, tunnel, system workers, haulers, air, maritime, which is sea crew and rail crew, civil aviation inspectors, which is to do with airplanes, so on and so forth. People transporting human cells and blood products, which is pretty much an abomination to the Lord. Seamen and masters and inspectors and surveyors of ships, specialist technical workers, also in limited circumstances. And this is probably what's gonna remain standard going forward, which is defense personnel, visiting forces and government contractors, foreign government officials, UK government officials conducting essential state business, essential government work, or essential policing. So these people are exempt. They can go to and fro without having to do any kind of test, but the run-of-the-mill citizen, they're still going to have to take these tests to be able to travel to and fro. And they've even set up websites, because I was walking on the high street the other day, and I saw how you can basically take a test for £130, and they've got all these places that you can go to get it. Travelers won't be allowed into Australia without a VC certificate. Minister signals it is highly likely vaccine certificates will be required for international travel. Australia's Federal Minister for Government Services said today. There is still a range of decisions for governments to make. It's highly likely that a certificate will be required for international visitors to Australia, and we will continue to work with our international counterparts on a framework for VC certificates. Stuart Roberts said Australians can have assurance that the certificate they have will be robust. It will be anchored to them, so they will know it's their certificate, and it will be widely accepted widely accepted. He didn't confirm, however, whether they'll lead to a faster opening of international borders, saying he'd leave any commentary up to Prime Minister Scott Morrison. And one of the reasons why they're gonna be more stringent moving forward is because of situations like this, which is Jake. She most likely is a Jake. She's from West Africa, Ghana, and she said traveling during CV, I was nervous using a fake CV test certificate. CV has changed the way we travel, and many countries now demand proof of a negative CV test before letting you in, with tests often costing hundreds of pounds. BBC reporter Joyce Atutu, so she's more than likely Ghanaian, I've been speaking to two women who admit using and selling fake certificates. And this is from a point of view, I was kind of nervous because I didn't know what to expect. We got to the counter where they check in your passport before you board the plane. That man asked me for my certificate. He literally read through it for no more than 10 to 20 seconds, and he smiled and asked where I was going and said, "Have a safe flight." So it just shows you in through the spirit that people know it's kind of bullcrap, because he's not even looking at that much. I was relieved because once I knew I passed that stage, I was free. 24-year-old. And this is for the moment, going forward. Obviously, this man's system is not going to last long, but they're really going to condition people to scrutinize people a lot more, thanks to situations like this. Travel to Ghana in October using a fake negative CV-19 test certificate. The documentation some countries require to prove you don't have the V and are fit to fly before you leave. We'll just skim through. Buying or even attempting to buy a forged certificate is a crime in the UK, and using a forged certificate to travel is fraud by false representation. If you're caught selling fake certificates in the UK, you might face prison time. Now, this is one of this man's unjust laws, because really and truly, you're not really supposed to stop a man from going to and fro, but this man has all types of licensing fees that stop you from being able to do things which are yours by right. You can't travel, you can't operate a vehicle, you can't do a whole bunch of stuff unless this man gives you a license. She says it was easy money. They just didn't want to pay $150 for a private test, and I saw one for $130, so I don't know whether or not it's gone down. We charged them $50 for the certificate because it was so cheap. People asking so many questions like, how does it work? When I get to the place, are they gonna double check? How do you do it? Am I gonna get in trouble? Well, you can pretty much read. This is on the bbc.co.uk. A man was arrested at Luton Airport last month under suspicion of selling fake certificates, and then Paris French authorities recently arrested 7 people at Charles de Gaulle Airport. It is claimed they were carrying 200 counterfeit tests on digital devices. The UK government says you can provide proof of your negative test with a printed document, an email, or a text message. So going forward, it's going to be a lot more stringent and harder to prove your case that you're eligible for travel. It's another one. Iceland CV-19 passport offers preview of debate over post-vaccine travel. Canada's territory says too early to discuss whether or not vaccinations would reopen travel, and this is February 10. But we all know where this is going through the spirit. Iceland expects to vaccinate a majority of adults by mid-2021, months ahead of its neighbours. Residents of Nunavut, Yukon, and the NWT are expecting the same. And this goes right into Second Esdras, and this has been coming out a lot recently. 15:17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbour, and shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods, because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. And this is all coming up because, saith Yahweh, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which are from the rising of the sun, from the south, from the east, and Libanus, to turn themselves one against another and repay the things which they have done to them. And this is the thing that they've done to Israel. These people are going to pay, and soon people are actually going to understand that there is a power. And you saw during the first part of it how people were buying Bibles And I even heard people, because the people I'm around and my continents, they were saying, oh, this is because of God or whatever. But as soon as things looked like it was getting better, they pretty much just went back to their degenerate ways. These people will be speaking about God while stuffing pork in their mouth. So these people are hypocrites. Proverbs 28:4. They that forsake the law praise the wicked, but such as keep the law contend with them. So we're trying to keep the law, which is not putting this disgusting trash in your body, because when you look at their ingredients, it's got all kinds of abominable and unclean animals in it, and ingredients which you really shouldn't be putting in your body. So to actually take this, you're actually going against the Most High's law, even though you're supposed to render unto Caesar's what is Caesar's, and you're supposed to be peaceable unto all men. Evil men understand not judgment, but they that seek the Lord understand all things. Better is the poor that walketh in his uprightness than he that is perverse in his ways, though he be rich. Whoso keepeth the law is a wise son, but he that is a companion of riotous men shameth his father. So if you're going along and you want to take this VC and you want to just basically go along with what Esau says, you're a companion of riotous men. And I had somebody ask me, if I vote, and I said, I've never voted in my life. And it was like, why? And I said, you voted, how has your life improved? And they just basically just blanket stared me, because they know it's not, it hasn't had an effect on their life. But these people are companion of these evil people, and it's, as it says, can two walk together unless agreed? So these people agree with these people, and by them going along with it, they're actually part of the problem, but they don't perceive that. They see you as part of the problem because you don't want to go along with the folly and the lies and the deception. And all of this is going to come to a head. This is why it says, my servant shall laugh, because at the end of the day, you see these people reaping what they sow. Isaiah 10:1. Woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. Now, not being able to travel to and fro and wanting to put abominable things in your body which are going to have an adverse effect, and then you turn around and say, you're not responsible for that. That's an unrighteous decree. That's just pure evil. To turn aside the needy from judgment, so somebody died from it, and then you're like, we're not liable because we basically told you that you could possibly die from it, so it's not our fault. And to take away the right from the poor of my people, that the widows may be their prey, because they're gonna get rid of that. They're gonna get rid of the men, because they're saying men are more susceptible, and then you're gonna have all these women out there, which is gonna lead to several women trying to lay hold of one man. And they that may rob the fatherless. And what will ye do in the day of visitation, and in the desolation which shall come from far? To whom will ye flee for help? Because these people don't, they don't put their, they don't put their hopes on the Heavenly Father. They put their hopes in their enemies, and you're not supposed to trust the enemy, but these people trust them 100%. So when that happens, where they're going to flee to, because you're going to flee to your enemy for help, and he's going to show you that he is your enemy, and then where you're going to flee from there, because the Lord is actually going to turn his face from you, and you're going to have nowhere else to go, and all the prophets are going to be looking at you, because they've already told you what is going to happen. You didn't listen to them, so now you're just going to be left with your own devices. And now you're literally gonna go back to your enemy like an idiot, even though they just showed you they're your enemy. So these people are gonna fall. And to be honest, I don't really care at this point, because the more I come into contact with these people, the more I realize that they're just completely gone in their head, man. They're just a bunch of idiots. To whom will ye flee for help, and where will ye leave your glory? Without me they shall bow down under the prisoners, and they shall fall under the slain. For all this his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. So the Lord is, the Lord's hand is out for these people. By the end of the day, he's set up in the spirit where he doesn't want you to return to him unless he heals you. It's a bit of a catch-22 that 2/3 and the rest of the nations are in, because the Lord is merciful, but he at this point, he's just gonna treat this place like Sodom and Gomorrah, and just blaze it off the face of the earth. All praises to the Most High Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS who rule well. Shalom to the elect.